Four?
Well, he said to me, what would you like to drink? And I said, I don't know.
He said that. He said, whoops, Daisy, you wanted something warming.
It's cold.
I'm Nick. And never tell me my really because I'm Nick. Okay. Never say Michael to me. I'm Nick. Okay. Never Michael. Never in your life.
No smoke, you make.
Mick Flick is the one who inherited half the Mercedes company. Drinks all round.
But my car is. I put the wheels. And that's too fast.
Oh yeah. After that, I got yelled at this afternoon.
We'll be sorry for this tomorrow. We've got to get to Istanbul. In our first hotel in Turkey, there was some serious partying last night, and this morning Podge feels a little slow.
Morning, Podge. How are you today?
Fine, absolutely fine. Didn't have a very good night's sleep, just running up and down the corridor until 1 o'clock this morning. But I received an absolutely hysterical fax yesterday, and then couldn't stop laughing for about 2 hours, which also didn't help me sleep. Now, how are you this morning?
Probably looking rather rough. I got spots. There we are. I have spots. I've got a boil I feel on my nose. Just looking out at the scenery at Paladukin, I think you pronounce it. Just backing off, you can see Paul and Paul's car there on the left. This is our team members, Harm and Tony, their Volvo, which is now in part built up with our spare parts, so that's fine. They're the other girls' team, the Americans, Hillman Hunter. Here are daily companions, Fabio and Roberto's car. The Bulls, Mr. Bull, who gives us a daily song. It's Bat Out of Hell today. The Australians, who think they're too old to be doing it, but they thought they'd do it anyway, which is very funny. The gastronomic Noors, who just dragged their car out of the garage and arrived, and it just goes to show you what you can do and what you can't do. One of the American vehicles, and just behind there in the green is Bert Reitenberger and his wife's Volvo, PV544, I think. And then there's Anton's Citroen CV, which is the most difficult car on the whole rally to keep going, and somehow he's here, but he knows his car very, very well. Then the Broderick's car, groovy little Ford Anglia, which zips along happily. They know exactly what they're doing. The Cat's car, which is right up there, first or second. Rolf and Garrett's car, and the Jaguar, which is also always broken down, but it is a driving, well, it only breaks down. He knew it was going to break down every day, or break, so he mends it every day, and the back of it is just a mechanic's shop. It's full of everything they might need. A lot of the old cars have gone off this morning. Mr. Binney and Ted's car. Morning, Ted, how are you?
And we're off. 200 miles to compete over today, and our destination is a town called Cappadocia. The competition between cars is all about passing particular places at precise times and getting time penalties when you don't. There's been a lot of whinging about the car that's in the lead, Fingersfield's Jeep. People claim it has a non-standard engine. Now Phil has challenged the rally organiser to scrutinise it.
I said, I'm getting a bit pissed off with all this. I said, now I'm getting flack from rally office, as well as the sour grapers in the bloody field who just don't like to see this heap of shit up front. Yeah. So I said, I'm seriously thinking about demanding a full eligibility scrutineer. Scrutineering be done in Istanbul. And he said, well, that's what you want, you know, you put it in writing. I said, oh yeah, I'll put it in writing. I said, well, in fact, I'll go a bit further. I'm going to demand the top 5. And he said, hell, that shit's going to hit the fan then, isn't it? And I said, probably. I said, but that's their problem.
By lunchtime, it's warmed up a lot. Coats come off, and at a fuel stop, calculators come out to deal with Turkish money.
Of course, you have to be a millionaire to buy anything.
All those zeros on the currency.
Right, right. Was it 18 million for $100? Is that what it is, Vic?
I don't know. 18. I should be here worried.
We're going to be here long enough to try and figure it out.
What are you doing down there again?
I'm just putting some oil on the heim joints on the sway bar. They've got a little noisy and dry and mud all over them. And
I think this car gets more tender loving care than any other in the rally.
no, Vic pretty much works on his. We kind of work on them together, kind of as a team. Work on both of them, that way get done quicker and do, you know, kind of as a team effort. That way it doesn't, one job don't take so long. And
If you go on like this, it'll end up better than new.
I don't know, it's getting beat down pretty good. The front springs are giving up. It's getting lower and lower in the front.
I don't think you have much doubt that you're going to make it to Paris, do you?
We're going to make it if we have to get a tractor to pull us. We're going to Paris, one way or the other.
The Bentley Specials just had a tank full.
It's frightening how many noughts you have to pay for the. It's $500,000 plus 100,000.
How much in real money?
It's quite expensive. Too much. Actually, it's quite expensive. It's more. Obviously, we got it cheap in Iran, but Iran was very much less expensive than this. The trouble is, we can't manage to work it all out.
I've given you the right amount. I give you 600. It's 600 is what we gave you. It's 600. Look, it's 6. That was on there. If you don't want it, that's right. That's the right money.
Yok. Daha 6 milyon niye 1,5 milyon veriyor? Gel şunu anlat oğlum. Gösterdik ya oğlum Allah gördü.
What was it on?
I know, but he's wrong and I'm right.
Bak.
No, don't you write on there. That is the right money. It was on there, okay?
Right, what do you want to write down?
I'm not even talking to you.
Yes, it's got 6.
I'm wrong, he's right. There's a naught missing.
Oh, God, how many noughts?
Sorry, it's my fault.
How many noughts do you want?
It's monopoly money is the problem.
Bad case of currency fatigue there. There's one person here who never shows any kind of fatigue. Could I get the indefatigable Maria to admit that there's been any country she's found even a little bit tiring?
India and Pakistan, both. Pakistan was better, though, than India, because the people were friendlier and more welcoming, so that, than in India. But maybe we didn't get a chance to know Indians good enough in 2 days. It was too short a trip, really.
So if they told you the rally was going back to China and Tibet tomorrow, you wouldn't mind too
No,
much?
thank you. I would rather go to South America or some other place. I think this is it now. As far as driving in Asia is concerned, this is it.
With a Bentley that long, you arrive before you've set off. Another Bentley, Peter Noble's Continental, has had a hideous run-in with a dog.
Days ago, we're tailgating the Packard at 60 miles an hour, and you know how you do, too close. Gone into a bit of a trance, and suddenly something the size of, I suppose, anyway, the size of a donkey, a huge dog bounded out after the Packard. We swerved to miss it, we hit it. It's a terrible sound. The dog spun round, his bottom went into the wheel, which was at an angle. He deposited about 12 pounds of diarrhea into the centre of the wheel. It went all over the car. He then got catapulted and rolled forward about 60 feet. He was rolling along with us at our speed, screaming. It was terrible. He then picked himself up, fell over, picked himself up again, and by that time we're gone. It was a terrible business. But the damage was extensive, because that headlamp was completely folded in. This was folded in from here, the spot lamp, fog lamp's gone, the air intake's gone, And this was tapped out at Hamerden, suitable name, and cost us $1 for 2 hours work.
I'm waiting for the Jeep to arrive. I want to know if the suspect engine is genuine or not.
Just between ourselves, Phil, is there anything about your car that you are worried about?
No, nothing at all. I'm whiter than white, baby. I really am. No problem.
No.
So there he goes, in what he swears is a 100% genuine M38 Jeep. Ever since he took the lead, Fingers Phil has been hearing about complaints. It's getting to him a bit.
Jolly, you can tell the guys who are a bit sort of sour grapey by the way they look at you, you know, and they're sort of nod and they don't smile, and, you know. Whereas most of the competitive guys, the guys who are going for it, the hail fella well met, you know. Yeah, chatting away. Yeah, and they have their problems and they help sort them, and, you know, it's one big club, isn't it?
Later in the day, I feel a history lesson coming on. It's about Prince Borghese, the man whose drive to Paris inspired our effort.
Back in 1907, Count Borghese faced a problem that we haven't had to face so far: no roads. His answer was really quite simple. He just did this.
Borghese drove many miles on the tracks of the Trans-Siberian Railway, and he got to Paris far ahead of his rivals.
A perfect afternoon, just lovely. Green fields, herd of horses over there somewhere. Lovely stuff. Everybody seemed cheerful, uplifted. Easy roads, beautiful landscape, wonderful snowy mountains in the distance.
Well, I saw some horses, didn't you? Up ahead, Fingers Phil's been trying to prove his M38 Jeep's engine is authentic. John saw him in action.
We're charging down the road as usual, and we overtake a Jeep, a military Jeep. I don't know, about 120k from here. And Phil takes one look at it and says, "That's an M38." So we saw this on the side. Phil saw this on the side of the road. So we pulled ahead of it, got a bit of a gap, flagged him down, and 3 people popped out of it, 2 in fatigues, army fatigues, military uniform. And we gesticulated to them and allowed us to open up the engine. Go on. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, show me what we're looking at.
Well, you can see there, from there, that's the overhead valve bit.
Yes.
And from there down, it's the same as an MB.
Right.
There's the carburettor, which is the original Carter carburettor. That's on ours, the same. That's on ours, the same.
Yep.
That is. And there's the dipstick, same. The whole thing.
Fuel pump.
Fuel pump, yeah.
The manifold.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lot.
Manifold.
Steering box.
Manifold.
Yeah.
Manifold.
Yeah.
Super.
Fingers Phil is a happy man. He's filmed his proof, he's in the lead, his car has never missed a beat, and his navigator has never missed a turning. In the Land Rover there, I reckon I'm a pretty hot navigator myself.
Paul suddenly wants a bit of navigating done. At miles 380, but it'll be 399 on there because it's 400, pretty close. My calculations aren't far out. We should be giving way, turning right at a big T-junction. Have we had a T-junction? I wasn't looking. Oh, miles back. Oh, well, that was it then. No, now we're on a dual carriageway with a signpost to Caesarea still. I am undoubtedly the best navigator in this rally. Correct? No.
These brakes there. Oh, I bet that frightened him. Christ!
Bit nasty.
By early evening, we're coming into an area of strange volcanic rocks. Just catching the last rays of the setting sun here on the plain of Cappadocia. Doesn't it sound biblical? Cappadocia? Cappadocia? I always thought it was Cappadocia until we got here, but Cappadocia. Beautiful, lovely light.
We should all sing. I'll sing. Okay, come on, let's have a song. What are you going to sing? Way hey up she rises, way hey up she rises, way hey up she rises early in the morning. Put him in the longboat till he's sober, put him in the longboat till he's sober, put him in the longboat till he's sober early in the morning. Way hey up she rises, way hey up she rises, way hey up she rises early in the morning.
Outside the hotel in the morning, the 84 cars still going are coming to life for another day on the road. Prince Idris Shah and Richard Curtis from Malaysia share the 1932 Bonnie and Clyde style Ford. The pink Rolls-Royce is from London. The BMW from Germany. And the 1930 Delage is French but driven by an English father and son team, Duncan and Brian Ashby. The gentlemen of the pink Rolls-Royce are city chaps reporting our progress back to the Financial Times. Mounted on the oldest car still with us is Etienne Veen. He is from Holland, but there's something of St. George donning the helmet about him, with his vast 1927 6-litre Mercedes as his snow-white steed. Or is it the Dragon? The Rolls-Royce looks comfortable, but with 4 men aboard, you wonder where they stow the Fortnum & Mason's picnic basket and the butler. There actually was one British duke who entered for the rally proposing to bring his butler, but they cancelled before the start, probably because it clashed with the grouse shooting season. Apparently, 3 million years ago, volcanoes shaped this part of Turkey, leaving soft rock that is riddled with caves. The caves made homes for the local folk. You can drop in.
Here we are, this is first floor. Oh, look. Wow. 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 Look at this.
Going up.
Little sitting room. Kitchen. Laundry room. WC. And here she comes.
I was not going to climb up here because I'm more worried about getting down.
No, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
Now we're up here, we can't get
Going
down.
down's the problem.
Peek out a window. Out a window. There's the view.
Oh, what a beautiful morning, oh, what a beautiful day. Really is perfect, and I think everybody's feeling very buoyant. You could almost call it Euro euphoria. I guess we're all very glad to be getting closer to home. And looking back, things were quite difficult at times. But tonight, we'll be in Istanbul.
Everywhere, look. Imagine living in one of those. A rock with a view.
It may be illegal to advertise cigarettes being smoked beside mountain streams and in fresh landscapes like they used to, but unfortunately there's no law against actually smoking them in fresh landscapes. Oh Paul, oh dear. The Chelsea girls' flirtation with the Italians in the Lancia is moving ahead nicely.
In a minute, I have a feeling that the Italians are going to roar past us with another message, so I'm just going to try and zoom a little bit out the window. Here they come. Here they come. And the message this morning is... What did it say?
It says, "Please reserve your pistons for me." This time it says, "She's a virgin." Must be in code.
Yes, I think that the minarets look like warheads. You go in and pray and then push the button. And Jennifer thinks they look a bit like spaceships, which is slightly nicer than a warhead, it has to be said.
On the way to Istanbul, a neat little Turkish town where they offer you coffee and appreciate the whole extravaganza.
And nice cars, you know, all vintage cars. It's really nice to see them on our roads, really. It is nice.
Did you fancy any particular, do you like any particular car?
Yeah, especially one of those Bentleys, you know. 35 Bentley, 6 liter. It was a nice car. It's a big car, yeah.
In the next town, Too Tall Don in the Packard arrives first and is greeted by the local mayor. The huge American decides to chat to a small boy who gets nervously pressed into service as the spokesman for his town. As a one-time congressional candidate, Don could almost be on the campaign trail here. There goes the American-driven 1928 Bentley, and here comes the Danish-driven one, burbling along mellifluously. The Chelsea girls are already reaching the approach to the big city.
Well, here we are, Bosphorus Bridge into Istanbul. Huge traffic jam, hoping you won't overheat, but it's fine at the moment. And I'll show you a view of the river in a sec. He's making quite a grinding, clunking sound from something that's come loose. Engine. So we'll have a look when we get there, hopefully we will get there, not far to go.
Behind us, on one side of the bridge, is Asia. In front, on the other, is Europe. The first to cross into the home continent is Fingers Phil. Our own culture awaits. We are hungry for the great achievements of Western civilization. Everyone's got a day off today in the magical city where we've come out of Asia into Europe, Istanbul. In the Jeep, Fingers Phil and John are looking to clear their name. They're still leading the rally, but their rivals are saying the Jeep's engine is not standard and they must be disqualified. At a police post, Phil spots a police Jeep and wants to cite it in evidence. He needs to compare engines. Jeeps were developed 50 years ago by the Willis Car Company, but many were actually built by Ford. Now, who put whose engine into which Jeep and when, and which is a true M38 and which has a Carter carburettor, is a mystery of Byzantine complexity. Their case has already gone to the rally director.
Now, we have checked out the grumbles, and yes, it is a Ford wartime Jeep, originally made by Ford, and he has a later engine in it from Willis, which he would say is splitting hairs. Others would say the letter of the rules say you shouldn't put an engine in from another manufacturer. But there we are. It was scrutineered and allowed to start. No one queried it in China, and now is doing particularly well, perhaps due to tiredness. There have been some grumbles, but I'm fairly relaxed about it, and he's winning it by good stint, good driving, and there's nothing that we can do about the grumbles, so the results stand.
A day off in Istanbul, sightseeing, shopping, a treat, unless your car happens to be Gordon, the dodgy Volvo Amazon.
Good morning. Well, as you can see, I'm standing. It's Amazon.
Amazon. Years.
1964.
64 model.
Well, as you can see, I am standing outside a garage with Gordon. It is our rest day in Istanbul, so it's hardly surprising, really. But it is a Volvo garage. We arrived here today to the garage at about 7:30. They opened at about 8. The man that owns it speaks English. We just can't believe it, really, and hopefully we can get absolutely everything sorted out.
One mad motorist who can go sightseeing, though he'd probably rather have a car to work on, is Lord Montague. Because his car packed up long ago, he has time to see the minarets of old Istanbul.
This is one of the minarets of Santa Sophia, originally built by Justinian as the greatest cathedral in Christendom. The minarets were added later by the Ottomans, who turned it into a mosque. The Christians had to build St. Peter's in Rome to match this place.
While Lord Montague takes in the St. Sophia Mosque, back at the hotel, Francesca is holed up with her husband, Doug. He's flown in for the big day off, so she's leaving the car to Jennifer.
Doug arrived yesterday, which is brilliant for Francesca, really, really nice. Sadly, there were no other rooms, so we all had to sleep together and bunk in together. But that's fine, except Doug snores a little bit. So another night, not a lot of sleep, but it doesn't really matter, really. We've all gone past that.
While weary Jennifer gets ready to climb under her car, Lord Montague's doing the morning cruise.
We're setting off from the Golden Horn. It's a river flowing into the Bosphorus. We're in one of the finest natural harbours in the world.
The usual clan of mechanics. I'll just show you the prop shaft. We have a big rattle here, universal joint problem, and further up here. And the brakes pads. They're worn. We have others.
This is the Great Bazaar. Streets roofed over. 5,000 shops. It's really an early shopping mall.
$5,000 shops that Jennifer won't see because life on the Peking to Paris is about shock absorbers.
Bottom of the shock absorber, not terribly good. Can catch on things, you see it sticking out, they probably ought to be cut off. Well, that's what the rally people have told us. The other rallyists, the professionals, all have these just cut straight off. And up goes the car so I can stand up. They're rather short, these people.
Lord Montague's reached the Topkapi Palace.
These are the palace gates where they used to have executions and hung up the heads as a warning. This is the zone the Sultan was carried in for festivals. Solid gold and jewels. This is meant to be the hand of John the Baptist. He was revered by the Muslims.